Well, there's a lot of stuff going on with Spider-Man 4, and we actually have a working title. But another report seems to indicate the production could be delayed, and that could actually push back the release of the movie, and what cascading effect that has on Marvel, nobody knows. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about Spider-Man 4, its working title, the recent report production has been pushed back, and how this could impact the MCU. Well, as many of you know, we've been getting multiple reports that Spider-Man 4 is set to start shooting next year. The film itself will see the return of Tom Holland, as well as a lot of the supporting cast from the original trilogy. It also has Destin Daniel Cretton set to direct, with a script by Chris McKenna and Eric Summers. Now, in the case of both of these reports, neither are from Marvel Studios, so we're going to take them with a grain of salt. This first one is from the Cosmic Circus, but the second one is from Jeff Snyder, so we're going to do them both separately. Now, this first report from the Cosmic Circus dives into what we call the working title. Every film typically has a working title. For the last Spider-Man movie, it was Serenity Now, which many people thought was a reference to Seinfeld. And sometimes they offer clues and insights into the production, but for me, it's never something I give significant weight. Now, what the Cosmic Circus is reporting is that Spider-Man 4 is going to be shot under the name Blue Oasis, with Blaze Film Incorporated used as a production company. So does this really mean anything? Well, many people have pointed to the fact that the Blue Oasis color bears a striking resemblance to a lot of imagery used in Tim Sale's and Jeff Loeb's Spider-Man series, which was called Spider-Man Blue. Now, this is a pretty interesting story because it dives into a tale of how Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy actually fell in love. And with Spider-Man reportedly heading to college, well, begs the question of whether we could meet Earth 616 Gwen in Spider-Man 4. I haven't looked it up yet, but I'm going to try to throw a link to this Spider-Man Blue down below, and then you can check it out for yourself. It's actually quite a good book from Jeff Loeb. Now, we've been hearing multiple reports about the Black Cat and Felicia Hardy, and we also know Zendaya's MJ is also set to return. So, Peter's love life, if this turns out to be true, along with some of these other rumors, might take on a very interesting part of the movie. Now, we had been hearing that Madeline Klein could be part of the film as Black Cat, but she would also potentially be a Gwen Stacy. So these two stories might be getting conflated, or Marvel is charting multiple paths to see which one comes out the best in the final version of the script. Now, that same report from the Cosmic Circus adds, quote, "Our sources confirm that once again, the events in the next Spider-Man film take place after Doomsday, which means it will not be a prequel to the event of the upcoming Avengers film." And that is pretty interesting because it takes us into the second part of the story. The second bit of information we have on Spider-Man 4 is coming from Jeff Snyder. Jeff's probably best known for the Hot Mic podcast, and he's one of those scoopers that doesn't hide behind anonymity, but I'm going to be fair here. He's missed a couple recently, so we're going to take this once again with a grain of salt. Now, like we were saying, we were hearing production is going to kick off early next year. However, this new rumor does suggest it could be a bit longer. Now, this comes from the November 14th episode of the Hot Mic podcast. And in the podcast, Jeff Snyder revealed that he initially expected the untitled Spider-Man 4 film to start shooting by mid-2025, but now he has heard the movie could be facing both production and release delays. In the podcast, he actually said, "I'm under the impression that Spider-Man 4 would go into the second half of the year. Sounds like if it does, I keep hearing Spider-Man 4 may have to be pushed like the end of 2025 or early 2026. I don't see a world in which it makes that release date in 2026 in the summer. So I'm hearing that something's up with the Spider-Man 4 date and that may be pushed some months." So all of this suggests we could be waiting a bit longer for Spider-Man 4. Now, Jeff did go on to clarify that he had not confirmed the information with Sony, but the source had advised him to keep an eye on the situation. He also said he didn't know how a possible outcome could affect Avengers Secret Wars. A delay in Spider-Man 4 could cascade down the line, and that definitely could impact the release of future films that are depending on Spider-Man 4 to set up certain elements. Now, to be fair, very recently Tom Holland was on the Jimmy Fallon show and made it very clear they were going to start shooting in the summer of 2025. So I am really unsure of where to place this rumor on the scale of true or not. We do know Spider-Man 4 is supposed to fall between Doomsday and Secret Wars. So if that's going to happen, Marvel definitely needs to have it queued up on the schedule. Now, as of now, I want to point out Doomsday has also not started shooting, so we want to keep these things aligned properly, and Secret Wars is definitely a bit down the road, so I think Marvel has some time. I highly suspect the very full shooting schedule of some of the actors, specifically Tom Holland, who just picked up that Christopher Nolan film, as well as Zendaya, who's shooting Dune. Well, those two projects and obligations could be getting in the way of the Spider-Man production. We're obviously going to keep a close eye on this one. Spider-Man 4 is still scheduled for July 24, 2026 release, and despite Marvel's history of not moving release dates, it's become so common now, I honestly, if I'm a betting man, if there's any kind of delay behind the scenes that can impact the quality of this film or make it feel rushed, well, Marvel's probably going to take advantage of moving it, and we should be prepared for a longer wait. I don't think it's time to panic, but it is time to pay close attention, and with Spider-Man at the center of these next two Avengers films, at least that's what we're hearing, I think Spider-Man 4's importance is going to be so big for Marvel, this has to be done right. Until we know more, we're going to have to wait and see. Now, before you take off, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, ring that bell for all the updates, and make sure you get every notification because we do daily Marvel and DC content and we don't want you to miss any news.